Welcome to HealTalk Tuesdays with Liza, where transformation begins as we evoke, embrace, and evolve. Greetings, 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 and welcome to HealTalk Tuesdays with Liza. It's so good to be here with you, isn't it? Here we are, together again. And today I wanted to have a conversation. Instead of teaching or preaching or the way I come across as if I am teaching, today I wanted just to have a conversation. You know, the conversation that we have instead of with others, but with ourselves. And the conversation that lingers in the back of our mind, and the ones we avoid, the ones that we postpone, and the ones that it's the silent conversation that speaks to us. You know, years and years ago, I'm talking about like over 20 years ago, if you were to walk in the streets and have somebody talk to themselves, you would go, they're cuckoo. Nowadays, everybody's got earpods and they're talking to somebody. So it's become very natural. But what about those that we silently sit and there is this conversation that is in the back of our mind, the conversation that we have with ourselves. And instead of the he said and she said, it becomes I said and we said and here says everything. You know, I was reading something just the other day and then there was a podcast and it said that's called self-bullying, especially when we start criticizing ourselves and analyzing and judging. Have you ever done that? Do you sit and check or have this silent conversations looping in the back of your mind? Because sometimes it doesn't show up in words. It shows up as a feeling, maybe a tightness in the chest, and a thought that keeps looping and looping and looping. So yesterday I had a client and she said, I've got this negative looping going on. And I'm like, a negative looping? She says, yeah, it's the constant words that go and I'm constantly thinking, but it's negative. And I'm like, so is it ruminating? She says, no, it's reality. It's true. So because when you're thinking that way, it becomes like, why am I still thinking about this? Or something you heard and you're like, you can't let it go, by golly. And you know what it is? It's because that conversation, either with others or with yourself, has not resolved. That's it. It's an unfinished conversation. Sometimes you watch Hallmark and you know the beginning. And definitely if you have watched Hallmark, you know that the movie of Hallmark, what the ending is. And even though we know certain conversations are looping around, it's gotta be resolved. So sometimes it's something that you want to say to someone, something that you needed to hear. And sometimes it's something because it still needs an understanding, either by somebody or yourself. You haven't resolved certain things with yourself. So I want to share something. I was going to say, I don't want to talk about it. And yet the line of work that I do, I love it so much. This past weekend, I was at our hypnotherapy conference at the ACHE conference, and we were in San Jose. I posted some pictures all the way at the end when I got back because I was so immersed in our conference with my colleagues, with other speakers, with the newbies and the seasoned hypnotherapists. It was amazing. And you know, the thing about that is no matter how much we know and how much I've known, and I realized, wow, I've been practicing since 1999. I didn't even know it, except one of our master hypnotist, our executive director, Dr. John Butler, he showed me a piece of paper that it was a 2001 conference. And there was my picture, I'll put it in here as well, with the master, the founder of the Hypnotism Institute of Examiners, the founder, the person who created the rapid induction that you look into the eyes and go, sleep, rapid, fast. And way beyond anyone did it, it was Gil Boyne that started rapid induction. Fast, okay? You can check his name. He's like the person who knew how to do that. It was like, look into my eyes, sleep. And the voice and everything, he was bodacious. So why am I saying all that? Because in that book, when I saw it, it was like, wow, I've been practicing for so long. And yet, even in our conference, I learned so much more because everyone has their own modality, their own way, you know, and even in my workshop, doing the workshop, presenting a 3-hour workshop to other colleagues who are hypnotherapists and making an impact and transformation right there, right then. It's beautiful to see. And that's why I'm talking about this, because no matter what we think has resolved, no matter what we think has been complete, sometimes we hold on to things. Yeah. We carry it into relationships. We carry it into our work, in our profession. Actually, sometimes we even carry it into our sleep, and the body holds it. Ugh. Here's the truth. Your mind does not forget unfinished, unresolved emotional conversations. If it was something, here's an example. You might get into an argument with someone, not even an argument. You might have a conversation with somebody, and then you have to leave to go to work, or they have to leave. And as they leave, you create all these different scenarios of the stories that you create. And this is what I should have said. And this is what that person said. I could have said this and finished it. Oh, and then guess what? You get all worked up. And the only person that's affected is you. Sometimes it hurts to say something, but when you hold on to things like this, and it's not to hurt you, it's like your body saying, hey, there's something that still needs your attention, and you got to work this out. So the conversations that you carry, that you have not allowed yourself to complete, think about them. This weekend, not only I helped others, I found my own conversation from so long ago that I didn't realize I was still carrying a story. That was part of my history that was lingering in. Wow. It was just an eye-opening. I thought I had resolved it. And because sometimes, we need to hold on to it for our own sake. And that's it. So think about it. You can even write. The best way to sift things through is either you talk it or you write it out. Because when we type it, it's completely different. When you text it, next time, write it. Because when you start writing, And it's not thinking twice, because when you text it or something like that, you can go and fix it. But when you start writing, the subconscious, it becomes like an overload here, and then it unloads it through the pen or the pencil. Pencil is so much better. But if it's a pen, it's perfect because you can't erase it. Because when you sit with yourself and say, this is how I feel, this is what matters, and this is what I need. This is how I feel, this is what matters, and this is what I need. What do you need? What do you need for this conversation to be complete? Sometimes there is no need for a closure, but you need clarity within yourself. It's not about another person. Everything is about you. Everything. When you can resolve it with yourself, when you give yourself that time and say, this is what I need and this is what I can give to myself, you feel something shift. You feel lighter, clearer, and more present. Everything we want to do is to feel more at peace. No matter what therapy you go to, no matter who you speak to, no matter what conversations you have, bottom line is you want to feel at peace with your decisions, with another person, with another conversation. So I had to have a conversation with somebody yesterday after the conference. And here's what happened. Before we left, as we're all sitting, this one person that I have so much respect said something in passing, and I'm highly auditory, so it stayed here. And I was like, wow, if this person felt something from me, then I need to have a conversation with them, because it's going to loop in here, and I can come up with all kinds of scenarios. I can come up with all kinds of stories, but it will be my story. It won't be the real story. So I picked up the phone and I called her and I said, this is what I heard you say. And if by any chance, unintentionally, I made you feel uneasy at any moment, which was never my intention, because I wanted to do something good, and maybe my message did not come across the right way, I apologize. Do you know the difference between saying I am sorry and I apologize? I am sorry, it's about you. Has nothing to do with another person. You're sorry. It's all about you. The other person does not feel. Or you may go around, sometimes we hear someone say, I'm sorry, and they still repeat it. Why? Because they haven't taken ownership of it, even though they say the words. But when we say, I apologize, if what I said or what I did made you feel uneasy, or if I hurt you by my words or my actions, that means you're taking ownership. Sometimes we hear it and you push it away. We do that a lot. Or others, you may say something and they hear it, they get it, they feel it, and yet they don't take ownership to clear the way. That's when the conversations, the energy of that relationship changes. And it lingers, and it eventually creates a resentment. So you can start practicing the same thing. And here I was saying, I'm not going to do any teaching. But it means so much to me, because when we take ownership and we say, I apologize if my word and action hurt you in any way or made you feel uneasy, even feel uneasy, then the other person has the opportunity to say yes, no, or it's okay. That's how we clear the air, as we call it. And you feel lighter, clearer. So just for today, just for this week, start noticing. Not to fix it, not to solve anything, but be cognizant and notice. What is still speaking inside of you? Is there a story you have created and you're ruminating with that story? Or you're expecting someone to apologize, they haven't? Because this can go all the way to the time that you were young, yeah? Even as a child, teenager. I had a client that held on a resentment towards a girl who he thought she's going to go to the prom with him, and she decided not to go to the prom with him, and it hurt him. But they never cleared the air. So for the longest time, he did that. He held on to that feeling without realizing it hurt him. It's amazing what we keep inside, isn't it? So in the midst of everything else, I want you to remember one thing. Remember that in the midst of chaos, there can be clarity. And you choose it. And you take ownership. You know why? Because you matter. The moment you do that, you feel better, you feel lighter, you feel as if, wow, that felt good. Everything I do, I bring it and hone it back to you. How do you feel? How does this make you feel? When we feel good, our surrounding changes, our body feels better, and everything is the beginning of the transformation or beginning of becoming healthier. You know, until next time, let's clear the air, let the wind come, and swiftly push it away. But it starts with you. So, until next week, I wish you an amazing week. May God bless you and the universal light surround you always. If you like this message, if you use this message, do me a favor. Would you please like, share, and yes, go to my YouTube. Please subscribe. Everything I do is to help one person. And if I can help one person at a time, then I have done my job. God bless you. Until next week. Bye-bye.